For several years, Genndy Tartakovsky has had this idea in his head of making an animated R-rated comedy in the vein of Judd Apatow and the Farrelly Brothers, but about a dog. He titled it Fixed and started working it for Sony Pictures Animation, who happily greenlit the movie following the success of another R-rated comedy released by Sony Pictures, Sausage Party. Then, for whatever reason, New Line Cinema became the distributor instead of Sony, and sat on it for years, and I wondered when it would finally get released, which only added to my curiosity and interest in this movie. Finally, it was announced earlier this year that Netflix had acquired Fixed, and now it's arrived. Tartakovsky has made no secret about what this movie is about, and said it would be crude, but also have a heart. So do I think he balanced those aspects well and made a funny canine comedy? I thought this provided an amusing movie that, even with occasionally crass humor, meant to dig into these dogs and how they view the world. Honestly, dogs can get freaky at times. Haven't you seen them sniff each other's behinds? Tartakovsky, along with frequent Simpsons writer John Vitti, appear to really observe dogs and how they act with each other, and that's where a lot of the comedy comes from. While there are plenty of jokes centered on the main dog Bowles and other regions, the movie provides a variety of other bits too. A dog whose owner keeps dressing him up for Instagram likes stood out to me, as well as a hilarious bit involving one of those small dogs that women like to carry in purses. There's a lot of funny physical comedy too, which is to be expected from Tartakovsky, who is a master at finding the right poses for his characters to generate the biggest laughs. He's an animation director who understands the importance of visual storytelling and drawing the right expressions for his characters to convey what they're thinking. You could watch this movie with the sound off and still be able to easily follow the story. Obviously, Tartakovsky's talents will be mentioned the most, but the storyboarding team managed to further add to his concept. I noticed one of the storyboard artists was David Weiss, the creator of Cow and Chicken, and you can definitely see some of his input on the dog's facial expressions at times. Meanwhile, Craig Kellman served as the principal character designer. He takes the familiar dog design we know from movies like Hunter Animations and Lady and the Tramp and tweaks them to fit Tartakovsky's style. I mentioned before the influence of Judd Apatow movies on Fixed, and it is most noticeable in the conversations the dogs have with each other. And I'm not talking about the four-letter words. That friendship is one that is believably done, and there's a natural quality to the things they say, even though they're being applied to things that dogs might talk about, like catching the ball, the distrust of squirrels, or getting neutered. The movie is also a romantic comedy with the relationship between Bo and a show dog named Honey being nicely developed throughout the movie. I was invested in seeing how they would progress, and of the voice cast, I thought the standout was Kathryn Hahn as Honey. Each character managed to be distinct in their own way and have their memorable traits that stand out. And while yes, a lot will be said about this being an R-rated animated film with crude humor, unless you're that disturbed by the sight of animal nuts, it's pretty tame. I've seen shows like South Park and Drawn Together go much more gross with their humor and visuals than Fixed does. I don't think Genndy Tartakovsky's aim was to shock the audience with the jokes here. It's not even his first animated production aimed at adults, as Primal and the final season of Samurai Jack aired on Adult Swim and went really heavy with the gore and other imagery. However, he is also someone who understands the importance of giving the viewer compelling characters with jokes that fit their personalities. Dogs absolutely participate in sexual activities, and this movie finds the humor in the kinds of things they might do to the furniture or a fellow canine in the park. It's just following in the tradition of certain Seth Rogen comedies or the American Pie movies. And Tartakovsky is also smart to not make every joke sex-related, because that would get old quickly. I actually thought some of the funniest bits involved more wordplay-related humor, and commenting on aspects of familiar canine culture, like dog shows and going to the park. Does every joke in Fixed land? No, but there were enough that either gave me a chuckle or made me laugh out loud that I enjoyed the comedy. And I have to say, I think Netflix's marketing department did a disservice to the movie by having the trailers focus mainly on the sex jokes. While it's pretty standard story-wise, there is an interesting and heartwarming story here about a dog who just wants his next-door neighbor to like him and trying to show his friends what he's capable of. I'm happy after years of anticipation that we're finally able to see Genndy Tartakovsky's latest piece of creative animation, which shows his continued willingness to go to all sorts of places.